CBS News 7.
Your seats are too goddamn small! If your big, round, beluga bop whale-looking self needs an accommodation in the cargo hold, we can make that happen.
We are here live at the scene of a shocking incident where a woman killed her husband for walking on the floor she mopped. Has she been arrested?
Not yet. We are waiting for the floor to dry. Welcome back to the Spectrum News Network. I'm your host, Marshmallow Jenkins. We have some extremely tragic news for you tonight. The only Hooters in my town has shut down. I drove my moped to the promised land on my lunch break today, and I was shocked to discover that the happiest place on earth has become nothing but a memory. A culinary institution that was once the heartbeat of Tickletoe County locked its doors for the last time this week as it filed for bankruptcy. As the earth shifted beneath my Crocs in that empty parking lot, it began to rain. As if even the sky knew what had been lost to the cruel, twisted hand of fate. I began to wonder where Kelly could be. Is she thinking about me? Wondering where I am? My soul is now bankrupt of boobies. But do I get to file these feelings? No, I must carry on. I must become the man that my dad wanted me to be. The man that was born when Kelly hugged me that one time and absolutely smothered my face with those squeezers. Because if I can't become that man, well, I don't deserve Kelly and her massive upper deckers, do I? So that's what I must do. I won't just survive this tragedy. I'll become stronger from it. Stronger than I've ever been. I know more jiggly honkers are out there, and I'll find them.
This just in. The United States has officially deployed its most reckless and unpredictable unit to the Middle East, the Ultima Team.
Girl, I'm lost. Keisha, guess where I am? Girl, they sent me to Iran. Who's gonna fill in? Girl, that. They got some good ass food here though. Did you not see me? Dead ass. Move. I don't even care for real. Bitch.
Thanks, Chris. Known for their unmatched ability to cause complete havoc in school zones, Walmart parking lots, and Taco Bell drive-thrus. Y'all lucky I ain't bring Keisha.
The Pentagon has confirmed these drivers were selected based on three things: unpaid registration, loud exhaust, and vibes. God help us all. Welcome to the Black News Network. I'm your host, Papa Cap and Yo Ass Jones. Tonight's story, BNN weather reporter and local hoe Crackisha McRib thinks she too good for me. The part-time weather reporter and full-time community mattress was begging me to come through and lay this pipe last Friday, but now she want to act like she don't know me. She ain't ever had a problem asking me to pay for her food, but when it come time to show me what that mouth do, the hoe proudly lied, I ain't that kind of girl. So we just gonna act like you ain't already popping Plan Bs like they a daily vitamin. Oh, please. The dry cleaners won't even take your business anymore. They all tired of cleaning up baby batter stains off your clothes. Don't ever ask me to DoorDash you no crab legs again. You ain't never gonna feel these biggity black balls snocking all up on that tuna fish hot pocket garage door. And she wanna walk around here like we strangers now? Here's a forecast for any men thinking they about to get some neck work from this hoe. Expect a 100% chance of STDs. Don't be texting me next week saying, I miss you, Chocolate Thunder, come and get this deep dish. I ain't no hot and ready midnight snack hoe. You just missed the free shrimp. And now here's Crackisha McRib with the weather.
Your top lip and connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the best thing you can do.
Unc, what's one thing life taught you the hard way?
Well, anybody can switch up on y'all, sometimes for no reason at all. Even after everything you've done for them, they'll sit there and watch you drown.
Yeah.
Unc, what's one thing life taught you?
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. Might as well save that energy, because you're most likely gonna fuck up again in the future.
Unc, what's something people waste way too much energy on?
My motherfucking business. They be in my business so damn much, I ought to give them a W-2.
Auntie, what's something people waste way too much energy on?
Shit, trying to explain themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them. Don't even waste your breath with them.
Auntie, what's something people waste way too much energy on?
Other that fucked up relationship that they know the energy ain't being returned on. Clock that.
Hell, that damn game system. At least start a Twitch account. These broke-ass youngins ain't got no hustle in them.
Unc, what's something people waste way too much energy on?
I feel like a lot of us has wasted a lot of time on people who wasn't even worth a second.
What's something people waste way too much energy on?
Not setting any goals, no plan or priorities, and expecting that I'm gonna do the same.
Unc, what's something people waste way too much energy on?
Giving up, especially when they didn't give themselves a fighting chance.
So y'all gotta save that energy, put it towards a skill or something. Make TikToks hell. Keep God in your life, young buck.
Unc, how do you feel about the people criticizing you for using AI even though they themselves have been using it for years unaware?
Wake up. What the fuck do y'all think autocorrect is?
AI ain't taking over our world. It's the one who ain't scared to learn the new technology. We need to start capitalizing on it and get out that fear. Y'all even know that the first AI program was built back in 1951 by a British scientist named Christopher Strachey? Yeah. Y'all ain't woke. Y'all behind.
I ain't see nobody complaining when AI got them new Jordans delivered to their house. The fear of the unknown continuously keeps our people back. Or when your bank fraud detection go off because of unusual activity. I dang sure don't hear nobody complaining about AI then.
Shit, how you think YouTube knows what booty shaking video you would want to watch next? It's been in your face for a long time, huh?
I just know that these motherfuckers complaining because Uncle AI putting the younger culture on game. Down the black man using AI for a good reason, then cry and complain how we can't elevate on the same level as the rest. Make it make sense. I got a link in my bio that you can pay to learn how to do it yourself right now if you really want to. But before everything, keep God in your life, young buck.
All right. What up? What's up, everybody? Another episode of News Desk. It is July 1st, 2025. Let's do some news. Let's get the formalities out of the way. Yo, shout out to Kwame Kaiju. He says, salute Machismo TV. I take my proper spot in the clouds. Yo, he was first one in here while I was setting up. Salute, bro. Hey, yo, right off the gate, man. Thank you. Got sending in the super chats early. We're going to get through some news tonight. We got a pretty good one. I might even, if depending on how things go, we might even do another by the numbers. He says, Q, the Q, bro. I got you. Y'all done made another super chat drop famous. Here we go.
Riker, my good fortune is your good fortune.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Oh, you're so stolid. You weren't like that before the beard. Very well.
Haha. Yo, shout out to Hashim Shabazz. What up, Playboy, man? Ain't seen you in the chat in a minute. Yo, $5 super chat just supporting the stream, man. I appreciate you, bro. Right before we do the news, man, we'll do the good old trusty Vato on that one.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Fuck all you hoes.
All right, man. Let's get after it. Let's get an update on the Diddy trial real fast, because I actually don't even know what's going on. I heard they couldn't come to a decision on a verdict earlier, and then they still got a bunch of other charges they need to go after him about. So let me load up that segment real quick. This was from earlier today, and I believe there's one other one with an additional. And then TMZ was saying something. So let's see what they're talking about. Add this to the stage. Let's go.
A Fox News alert, the jury has reached a verdict in the high-profile Sean Diddy Combs trial. The rapper faces charges of racketeering, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted, he could face life in prison. So let's go right now to Fox News national correspondent CB Cotton, who's outside the courthouse.
Yo, what up, Irvin Reed? I see you in the building, Playboy. Shoot me an email, man. I'm gonna put my email again in the chat. I know we might have a spot for you on a Sunday panel from time to time if you want.
CB.
Hey, Will, yeah, this 2-month-long trial, which included nearly 7 weeks of witness testimony, has gotten us to this point. Just before 4:30 this afternoon, local time, jurors came back with a note. And we've just learned that jurors say they are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, racketeering conspiracy, but they have reached a consensus on counts 3, 4, on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right now, we've learned from inside the courtroom, the defense wants the jury to.
All right, so they reached a decision on counts 2, 3, and 5. Yo, what up? No news in the building, man. Yo, thanks for sending me the emails with the AI and stuff, man. You really help it out with the channel. You see, I'm incorporating them and everything.
Keep deliberating and does not want to take a partial verdict. We're waiting to see how prosecutors will respond to this major update from here in the ongoing federal sex trafficking trial. But right now we've learned jurors are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, racketeering conspiracy. It is the most.
Oh, sad. Okay, so there's no. All right. So there's no decision on count 1, racketeering.
Serious charge in this case. If jurors were to find Diddy guilty of that charge, it would be a sentence of life in prison. Counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 encompass the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Jurors so far have had lots of questions for the judge. A total of 6 notes, I believe, have been sent out from the courtroom. Jurors asking various things on the law, asking to review more pieces of testimony. Today, early this afternoon, jurors wanted to review the details shared by ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura on the witness stand about Diddy assaulting her at that Los Angeles hotel back in 2016, which was captured in some really disturbing surveillance video. The judge allowed jurors to be sent back with portions of testimony where she talked about what happened before and after that incident. Jurors also wanted to review some testimony from male escort Daniel Phillip. You may remember he was one of the first witnesses for the prosecution, and he testified about witnessing at least 2 times that he says he saw Diddy assaulting Cass. He said either saw or heard it happen twice. He also testified that he was paid hundreds to thousands of dollars to have sex with Cassie while Diddy watched. Will, if I may, I want to go back to my email and just see if there are any more updates from the courtroom. I'm seeing another email right now. I want to read this to our viewers as we're on the air. The judge says they have 3 options. The jury can continue its deliberations, or jury can continue its deliberations and he can give them some version of an Allen charge. I know you're a lawyer, Will, so I want to share with our viewers who may not be familiar with an Allen charge. It's where the judge instructs the jury to go back and continue deliberations on all of the counts. This is a 5-count federal indictment. The second option, the judge says the jury can give a partial verdict, which again, we've now learned that the jurors have reached a consensus on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the third option, according to the judge, is apparently, let me read through this, third option not being considered at this time. The judge is only okay, so the third option is apparently not even on the table, according to this latest note from the courtroom. The judge right now is only weighing whether jurors should continue deliberations or he should give an Allen charge. The defense is fighting to keep the jury in deliberations, and the judge is taking that argument into consideration. And we're also learning that both the defense and all the defense attorneys and the prosecutors are sort of sequestered off to their sides of the courtroom as they weigh these latest developments coming out of this trial. But the biggest takeaway right now, Will, is I can tell you jurors were unable to reach that unanimous consensus on racketeering conspiracy, the most serious charge in this case. If jurors had found Diddy guilty on that charge, he would have been sentenced to life in prison. But we are going to stay out here at the courthouse, continue to monitor these developments. Jurors have now been deliberating for about 13 hours between yesterday and today.
Damn, they've been in deliberation for 13 hours? So he might actually beat this racketeering charge.
I want to send it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, CB. I just want to clarify the top line once again. So on count one, racketeering conspiracy, which, as you point out, can carry with it a potential life sentence. The jury has not been able to reach a consensus. But on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, sex trafficking by force, transportation for prostitution, sex trafficking by force again, these charges, the jury was capable of coming back, CB, right? And what was their verdict?
Will, correct. So we don't know what their verdict was on those charges, but they just told the court in this note that they reached a consensus on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Will, if I may, walk our viewers rather through those charges. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. That related to Diddy's ex-girlfriend and accuser, Cassie Ventura. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. That also related to Cassie Ventura. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. That related to Diddy, one of Diddy's another ex-girlfriend and accuser who testified under the pseudonym Jane. And count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution. That also related to Jane. And if I may go back to the counts 2 through 5, we'll just unpack this a little bit because it's a pretty convoluted case, right? So prosecutors allege that Diddy recruited and enticed Cassie into.
All right, so they still deliberating on count 1, which is the racketeering. And we don't know what the verdict is on 2, 3, 4, and 5. This shit is fake news. They're just reporting on this joint. All right, let's jump to, because I wanted to catch up on that too. I didn't know what's going on. Trump's bill. Saul wanted me to do this one. The big, beautiful bill. So I got 2 pieces on this. Let's look at the actual news one, and then we're going to get our guy, Smart Money Bro, to go over it, because his breakdown is well, we're going to get Smart Money Bro to go over the Fed not dropping the rates, because that's the one I'm always. Let me see. He said, bro, did I send you the AI Bigfoot Diddy party clip? No, but definitely said that, Jordan. I clipped that up and drop it. That'd be hilarious. Speaking of which, let me play the Iran joint for everybody while I load up this other clip.
This just in. The United States has officially deployed its most reckless and unpredictable unit to the Middle East, the Ultima Team.
Girl, I'm lost. Keisha, guess where I am? Girl, they sent me to Iran. Who's gonna fill in? Girl, that. They got some good ass food here though. Did you not see me? Dead ass. Move. I don't even care for real. Bitch.
Thanks, Chris. Known for their unmatched ability to cause complete havoc in school zones, Walmart parking lots, and Taco Bell drive-thrus.
Y'all lucky I ain't bring Keisha.
The Pentagon has confirmed these drivers were selected based on 3 things: unpaid registration, loud exhaust, and vibes. God help us all.
Man, that's hilarious. So Trump's bill is in the Senate, and the bill is important because this will be the biggest tax cuts for the middle class pretty much ever. So Senate passes bill, setting up the Vice's House vote. All right, Belle, let's go.
Myron, sir, thank you so much for joining us. So for those who are for this bill, perhaps you have something to give them to be optimistic about here.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you guys. Look, I think that the bill brings an enormous amount in terms of revenue from boosting economic growth. A lot of numbers get flown about from the CBO and other sources, and none of them include the effects that the bill will have on economic growth, which let's remind ourselves what happened with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. In the face of all of the doubters, economic growth in the president's first term until COVID was 2.8%, real economic growth, right? If you look at corporate revenue as a share of GDP, it went from 1.6% of GDP to 1.8% of GDP, despite the reduction in corporate rates. And this is how pro-growth economic policy works. It boosts economic growth. More income means more tax base. More tax base means more revenue, and that brings deficit down. We calculate that between all the president's policies, from the One Big Beautiful Bill, the deregulatory agenda, the energy abundance, they'll boost economic growth by about a percentage point. This brings in about $4 trillion more revenue. So whereas the Congressional Budget Office says this thing's going to cost $3.25 trillion, we say that's nonsense. You have to include the economic growth that's going to come as a result of the bill and the other policies from the president. And then you add $4 trillion to that $3.25 trillion deficit, you get to plus $750 billion surplus. So there's lots of revenue that's coming in from economic growth and other sources that are going to bring the deficit down.
Okay. There's a lot of calculations there that you have made. It has not convinced some, including Andy Harris from the House Freedom Caucus. He joined us last hour and said this. I'll get you to respond.
This is not ready for prime time. We support the president's agenda. The president's agenda was not to raise the deficit by $750 billion over the next 10 years. The bottom line is now the House is going to have its say. This is not going to sail through the House. We're going to have to negotiate with the Senate one more time, and that's just appropriate. That's the way the legislative process works and the way it should work on a bill of this size.
So, Stephen, how do you respond to him?
So what I'd say is, number one, voting against this bill is effectively voting for the biggest tax hike in history. And that would be really bad to stick American workers and American businesses with a $4 trillion tax hike that'll send the economy careening into recession.
Exactly. They're gonna primary those other Republicans. Yeah. When this bill's got the bill, no tax on tips and all the other incentives for the middle class, and this is the time they decide, we're concerned about spending. We don't want to we don't want to pass the bill. It's all bullshit. And what this dude just said, what they're leaving out when they say that it's allowing Trump's other tax cuts from the previous to expire. So it's actually going to raise taxes on the middle class. These are these holdout rhino Republicans, and I hope they all get primaried and get them up out of here. And what they're also leaving out is that we're already pulling in hundreds of billions of dollars a day from all the tariff revenue. That's going to offset some of the spending that's being on the balance sheet with the budget. It's brilliant, and like I said, it's brilliant what Trump is doing. He's using like basic merger and acquisition tactics, where you come in, you cut all the operational costs, you increase your revenues, your accounts billable or what have you. So that's money coming in while you're offsetting the rest of the budget. And like I said, Trump ran on certain things, certain promises, and more than anything, he's like, let's just get this budget passed. Let's lock in the tax breaks and then the additional tax breaks for the middle class. And then after the midterms, we'll circle back and we'll make any type of additional, cut the damn rates. We're about to do that next. You see, I posted the cartoon on the community tab with Powell with the Fed rates. He's doing that to it's a political move. They're trying to crush Trump's economy, and that's why Trump's moving so fast. They're really freaking out. Vance walked in like a VP. Yup, named Slipback. Exactly, bro. Shit, you know what's crazy? I was gonna pull that clip. I was gonna pull that clip up to review tonight. That Vance pulled up. Yeah, Vance pulled up to break the tie. Yo, Vance turning out to be best vice president ever. I actually can't remember a better vice president. George Bush Sr. was a good vice president for Reagan. And although Dick Cheney was the evil overlord, he was actually a good vice president for George W., even though their entire administration was like the Death Star. Urban Reed with the $5 super chat, he said, The no voters are exposed as rhinos. We know better than to vote for now. See them at the midterms. F all you hoes. Exactly. Yeah, we need to primary them and get them out of there. Right. And Vance showed up out the blue like, all right, y'all playing? Let me get in here and break this tie.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. And fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. And fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. And fuck all you hoes.
All right, let's play a little bit more of this, and then all right, cool. Then we'll get to the Fed rates. We're gonna get Smart Money Bro to talk about the chair cut in the interest rates, which he should, and then he'll talk about some of the politics behind it. So, all right, cool, spot on.
Session. But what I'd also say to him is that the deficit will come down. The deficit will come down through economic growth and other policies that we're implementing. Let me tell you all.
That's what I just said. The deficit will come down. Trump is, like I said, he's doing this like a regular merger and acquisition or corporate takeover. He's going to offset. He's front loaded the bill with revenue already coming in. That's why he made that big tour. That's why he started off with the tariffs. He's making these trade deals. He's already got $2 trillion in investment money coming into the country from all the different countries. He's already forcing companies to come back, rebuild their factories here. So that's front loading the revenue. Do you understand what I'm saying? Tariff money coming in. He brought Elon in with Doge to cut operational costs. So with this budget bill he's trying to get passed, they've already calculated in, okay, we were over here, we'll offset that with the revenue we got in the front, and then when we come back around after the midterms, we'll cut more stuff. But the more importantly, he wants to lock, like I said, he wants to lock in a tax cut and add the additional tax cuts that he promised during the campaign trail for the middle class. And like I said, these is the biggest collection of tax cuts for the middle class and the working class in most recent American history. And it's the swamp. Like I said, if the spending was for corporations and stuff like that, they get the bill through. They've already tacked on so much pork. They're trying to stick it to the American public by trying to feign fiscal responsibility.
All the things that are not included in the CBO score that are getting ignored by the downers in this process. There's better revenue from economic growth that I just mentioned a moment ago. That's about $4 trillion. There's going to be about $3 trillion of tariff revenue coming in too, that because they don't come in through the
bangs, like I just said. So he's already calculated the front-loaded revenue at $7 trillion, which is going to offset that 3-point-something trillion budget deficit that they're already talking about. Yo, I didn't even watch this segment, but you know what I'm saying? I got common sense. I know how to do the math on this type stuff.
The legislative process, they don't get counted in the score, but those $3 trillion are as good as any other dollars for bringing down the deficit. There's about $1.5 trillion of further administrative cuts. These are things like reduced headcount at federal agencies, the government becoming more efficient, doing more with less. And there's also another about $1.5 trillion.
That was him just referencing the Doge cuts I was talking about.
Of reduced interest expenses because we're borrowing less for all the other things. You add all this up, you get to about $8.5 to $11 trillion of growth across all of these different means of, $8.5 to $11 trillion of reduced deficit from all of these means of bringing the deficit down. And it's all in all, combined, extremely powerful. And so it's very, very powerful deficit reduction. It'll bring the debt to GDP ratio down by over 20 percentage points relative to what the CBO expects.
Okay, so this was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent taking on claims that this only benefits the wealthy in this country. Listen here.
Bang, this is the segment I wanted. Once again, shout out to Trump for picking a great cabinet. I really like the Treasury Secretary, and I like the way Bessent handles the way he handles the media, and number two, he's literally one of the best in the game when it comes to finance. Like I said, he worked with George Soros when George Soros had the Quantum Fund. Like I said, and Bessett's a billionaire also, but he understands this international finance better than pretty much anywhere in the world. He's worked with China extensively, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is him speaking to, and he does a good job at making complex financial stuff sound. He can explain it to the public, the layman public. So this is him highlighting, pushing back on the time and saying that items in this bill will benefit the working class and middle class.
This is a deal for working people because what we have is President Trump's 2017 tax bill, and we are overlaying that with the president's campaign promises. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, the lower tax on Social Security, and tax deductibility of American-made cars. Those sound like working class tax breaks to me.
So that's how he takes on the claims that this only benefits the wealthy. How do you respond to those?
So I think Secretary Besson is completely correct that things like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, these are...
Bro, the no tax on overtime is just wild right off the gate. You know how much money... you don't work like them crazy overtime joints. You looking at that time and a half, and then you look at the taxes that they then took out of your joint for all your overtime pay. Bro, if you get to take home it's just a win all across the board for America, especially all the brothers working overtime, no matter what the job, and you get to eat all of your overtime money, bruh.
All aimed at the working class and at seniors, and that's a very, very, very progressive means of doing tax policy. But let me say one other thing, which is the best way to help the working class is to create an environment in which firms want to hire them. If firms are growing,
bang. No News says the left keeps trying to fake us out by saying the bill is helping the rich. I'm like, damn, the bill helps all of us. Exactly. And to some degree, you got to help the billionaires and those corporate tax cuts, because those are the people where are you going to work if there are no tax cuts for the fucking corporations? They're the ones that hire you. They're the ones that match your 401ks. Like, this is a practical bill. And like I said, Trump is smart, man. He knew, he did the calculations for the spending. They knew they were going to have to do a tremendous amount of spending to get the border closed and for the deportation effort. So that it makes sense now why, like, right off the gate, he came in kicking down the door with tariffs and trying to get all of that foreign investment in the country, because he was trying to offset the budget deficit that was going to show up on the bill. And he knew, like I said, he was going to layer. He wants to keep the 2017 that he passed in his first term tax cuts for the middle class. And that's the other thing they're leaving. They're trying to push the bill back, the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans, so that Trump's tax breaks from 2017 expire. Like, it's a concerted effort by the rhinos and the Democrats to screw the middle class and the working class. And they're pitching it to y'all like, oh, this bill's for the rich. Bro, snakes. Yeah, exactly, No News. I can't wait for no tax on overtime. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what is they talking about? Yo, no tax on overtime in and of itself is pretty much a win for like the majority of the country. Everybody works overtime. Bruh. Urban Reed said, now they're asking us to work overtime with no benefits, and now companies won't schedule you past 38.5 LMO. Yeah, before now. Exactly. Bro, everybody that know work overtime, they know like that check is a whole different animal once you start, once they start approving that overtime and like you ain't got nothing else to do, you gonna sit there and hump it. Man, you get your check, you be like, you know what I'm saying? Even with the taxes taken out. So, bro, with them not taking out taxes, man, forget about it.
if businesses are growing, businesses are prospering, businesses are expanding their lines of operation, they need more workers. And when they need more workers, they hire them and they pay them more. And so the president knows the best way to create jobs, the best way to boost wages is to create an economic boom, an environment in which businesses just want to hire as many people as they can. And that's what this bill does. The full expensing on investment, on new factories, on equipment is going to create a...
And then I'll say this, like, to piggyback on what he was saying. Traditionally, and which is a true rule of thumb, like, yeah, you got to create tax incentives for companies because they're the one that's actually hiring people. Well, what's been happening, like all the previous administrations, that's all they do. They make all these incentives for corporations, but there are no tax incentives for the middle class and the working class. And that's why Trump's approach is an anomaly. He's like, yeah, we got to stimulate business, but we got to give some tax relief to the middle class and the working class too. People need to be able to take home more of their freaking paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And that will in turn stimulate the economy, because that will stimulate consumer spending. And like I said, the last leg of the puzzle is we got to get this goofy up at the Fed to fucking lower the interest rates.
Manufacturing boom that will create such demand for workers. It's going to raise all wages. And this is exactly what happened in the president's first term. In the president's first term, real wage growth was about twice what it was during the Obama administration. And then if you look, for the lowest 10% of earners had wage growth at twice the rate as the highest tenth of earners. And so the president created successfully a blue collar boom through his policies in his first term. And Americans remember that. And Americans know that a pro-business president who creates a good...
Yo, straight up, like, forget what you heard, when right before COVID, and then like I ended up eating during COVID too, because we were working with, but like, bro, I never seen so much money in my paycheck, and like all like other little access to credit and all that shit, except during the Trump's first term, like right before. Yo, bro, as soon as Biden, let me tell you, Biden got in office, and as soon as the Ukraine war broke out, everything was fucking downhill, bro. Like, bro, my bank, Santander Bank closed all their mortgage operations in the United States, went back to Spain, the whole shit. Like, bro, it was tight and famine like after about it. Yo, never seen so much money except in those first 2 years of the Trump administration. Yo, shout out to Quiet Storm in the building. He said, "Let's go, big beautiful bill." Yeah, we reviewing some of it right now. Storm says GE Appliances just moved over 490 billion of production from China back. That's what I'm talking about. Back to the U.S., bro. Quite some. Yeah, I made more money and paid less in taxes when Trump was in office, which goes to the point with this bill. The Democrats and the Rhino Republicans, they're trying to push the bill back because they're trying to run out the clock and let Trump's tax cuts from 2017 expire. But with this bill, Trump's locking in the tax cuts from 2017. And like Scott Besson said, layering on these additional tax cuts with the no tax on overtime, no tax on tips. Bro, that's everybody. Everybody in the service industry, you get to keep all your tip money, and you primarily get paid in cash, man. Get out of here. Ever Reed, not going to lie, I was working my butt off, but I was making mad bread. Exactly. No news. That damn auto pen was holding American people hostage, bro.
Good environment for firms to hire is the best thing for them. And that's why they voted overwhelmingly in a landslide to reelect Donald Trump.
Why do you suppose that the margins are so narrow, considering all that you're touting is in this bill?
Well, I think that's just the simple arithmetic of a closely divided legislature. And, look, if we had an additional 20 or 30 votes, obviously the margins wouldn't be as narrow. But
who is this guy again? He's really good. He's handling these questions very well. Clear, concise, no stuttering. Just the facts. I like this guy. Who is this?
In an evenly divided legislature, that's just what's always going to happen no matter what.
Okay, I'll finish off with this. We're now looking at what will be a sprint to the finish line. The House Rules Committee, one might say, is the final gatekeeper here. So what's a realistic forecast for what happens as we head into tomorrow?
Look, I think that everybody knows we need to get this bill over the line. Everybody knows the consequences of not passing the bill are a disaster, the biggest tax hike in history, a recession, millions of people losing their jobs, 9 million people losing their health insurance. Everybody knows we need to get this bill over the line, and we are united on doing so. And at the end of the day, that's what we're going to do. And have we set ambitious targets for ourselves? Absolutely. But time and again, the president has delivered on those ambitious targets. Nobody thought that we would get the bill out weeks before Memorial Day, and we did. Nobody thought that it would be passed weeks before Memorial Day in the House, but it was. people thought the Senate wouldn't be able to pass it so quickly either. And so we've set ourselves an ambitious agenda, but every single step along the way, the president has delivered.
All right. Well, I guess it's all going to come down to 9 a.m. tomorrow as we head into Wednesday. And we do appreciate your time. We'll be watching. It's been exciting, perhaps too exciting for a few
Tell me
different.
about it.
All right. I really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we'll have you back soon. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Great.
John?
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily.
Okay, yeah, boy was good. Hold on, let me get these guys. Universal Black says, yeah, more crypto purchases from my OT, and crypto's going to bull run under Trump. The Biden administration, they've been holding it back. Irvin Reed said, I think General Tito can confirm this. However, it seems like Trump is saying Reaganomics works if you're mid-managers, just follow the plan. And Storm says, exactly. My dad's business accounts are still frozen for 2 years under the Biden administration. He lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in his trucking business because his capital is locked down. Exactly. And I'll say this too, them handing out the PPPs and all that other stuff, a lot of that was them setting up small businesses to get the IRS up in your joint. You file for them joints, and then they come in and freeze your tax accounts and freeze your businesses. That started happening to a lot of people. Do you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you owe the IRS all this money, and it was pretense for them to audit. And back to that damn auto pen holding the American people hostage. Yeah, that was the bureaucrats. I mean, under Biden's administration, it was pretty much a war on small businesses and the American public in general. That's my take. Do you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people got wiped out with it. And then all that money that was set aside for the public after COVID to stimulate small business and to pay things back, they redirected all of that money and sent it to Ukraine. And I know because I was calling into the IRS for certain things because they owed me 30 grand. Then by the time it was all over, I owed them 10 grand. Like, seriously, bruh. The Biden administration, they was getting off like old school, straight communism, old school robber baron shit. You feel me? All right, let's load. I think it was Irvin Reed said about lowering these rates. The rates. I've been pounding on that for like a month straight. Because that's the industry I was in, banking. The interest rates, make or kill banks. Like, we're in the business of lending money. Quiet Storm, he said, yeah, the sheer stress and depression of him losing money almost gave me a heart attack, bro. Dude, I had a corner. I've been in finance for 13 years, man. I've been eating for 13 years. I had a corner desk. Like the literal dream. Corner desk, Center City, across from City Hall, like the whole shit, bro. I'm making YouTube videos now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where does that happen? That's how bad the Biden administration was. And I'm in Theo's class now, trying to become a cloud engineer, completely out of finance. You know how hard it is to like not be able to make money in banking? Banking is like the mafia. You move from one bank to the other one. You feel me? That's how terrible this guy. And like I said, and Powell Powell, the chairman of the Fed. Powell is a layover from the Biden administration. So that shows you exactly what we doing. You feel me? Let me play this while I load up this. We're gonna do we've done him once over here before. What I've been doing is I've been finding all these black male content creators that make all this political content or financial content, or they cover the news, and I'm pleasantly surprised. So I've been trying to highlight them while I do these, like this media and news analysis stuff. I think it kind of broadens the conversation, and I think it's good to see showcase that brothers know what's going on. Irvin Reed says the scary part is that I'm old enough to remember straight up, folks jumping off top floors in the 80s, straight up. And that was a big thing in Japan, bro. That was a big thing in Japan. 2008, housing bubble. There's a lot of that going on. Here, let me play. Let me give you guys something real quick while I load up this next segment. Let me give you Iran Keisha again. This is the one you like, Quiet
This
Storm.
just in. The United States has officially deployed its most reckless and unpredictable unit to the Middle East, the Ultima Team.
Girl, I'm lost. Keisha, guess where I am? Girl, they sent me to Iran. Who's gonna fill in? Girl, that. They got some good ass food here though. Did you not see me? Dead ass. Move. I don't even care for real. Bitch.
Thanks, Chris. Known for their unmatched ability to cause complete havoc in school zones, Walmart parking lots, and Taco Bell drive-thrus. Y'all lucky I ain't bring Keisha.
The Pentagon has confirmed these drivers were selected based on three things: unpaid registration, loud exhaust, and vibes. God help us all.
This just in. The United States has officially deployed its most reckless and unpredictable unit to the Middle East, the Ultima Team.
Girl, I'm lost.
Tomorrow's weather happened yesterday, so we're experiencing reverse precipitation. Rain will unfall upward into the clouds starting at 3 p.m.
We're getting reports that local resident Mike Johnson has discovered he's been the same NPC for 3 years, repeating identical conversations with neighbors.
As you can see, we have heavy cat precipitation moving through the Midwest. Expect 3 to 4 inches of tabby cats with scattered Persian showers.
We're seeing a high-pressure system of existential dread moving in from the west, with scattered anxiety showers and a 70% chance of emotional breakdown by evening.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Mitchell. Wait, why are there 2 of us? I think we're experiencing a rendering error.
In tonight's game, gravity was temporarily disabled in the third quarter, resulting in all players floating.
All right, bet. All right, this is Smart Money, bro, and this is what I said. I'll be shocked when I find these channels. He's got 549,000 subscribers. I did Righteous Perspective yesterday. He's got 400, I think 409 or 490,000 subscribers. Like I said, this guy just does financial content, and I like it because he does the content just like a blue collar, just working guy. Whatchamacallit. So, well, as far as the news and the politics, at least I know I'm in the right niche. So this is this one is most people have no idea why the Fed is defying Trump. And I think I listened to a good piece of this, and he gives one of the best down to earth common language explanations about the Fed and why the Fed won't drop the rates currently, and how it's he's basically taking a political stance against Trump, which he's not supposed to be doing. The Fed's supposed to be independent and just concerned about monetary policy.
Fed is not directly accountable to voters. The Fed can pretty much almost do what it wants to do. You didn't vote them in, so that means you can't vote them out. So you may be asking yourself, why is the Federal Reserve defying Trump? And what does that mean for you or for us as consumers or investors? So I want to answer that for you on this video. Now, let me start by saying this, guys. Trump wants the Fed to lower interest rates. But today, the Fed came out and said, basically, we're not budging. Now, most people think this is all about just inflation, but in my opinion, what happened today goes a little deeper than just inflation. And on this video today, I want to explain to you why. I want to explain to you exactly what happened today, why I think the Fed is almost purposely defying Trump, and I want to explain why the Fed itself is really a propaganda machine. And towards the middle of the video, I want to talk about what we should be doing right now as consumers or as investors or even as small business owners. What should we be doing right now? So first things first, the Federal Reserve today, they held the benchmark rate that we all call the Fed funds rate. They held it steady at between 4.25% and 4.5%. In other words, they did not lower the rate like Trump wanted them to, even though inflation is way, way down at this point, right? And so you're saying to yourself, why isn't the Fed going to go ahead?
Spot on. Like I said, when I listened to the beginning of this, I was like, all right, he knows what he's talking about. That's why I have that cartoon posted on the community tab with inflation and like all those economic indicators listed around the snake, and Powell pulling the snake, not lowering the interest rates, because Trump did what he was supposed to do. He got all those tangential, not necessarily tangential, but subsequent economic factors under control, which would justify a lowering of the interest rates. So all those economic markers are where they're supposed to be, and Powell's still not lowering the interest rates.
And lower the interest rates since inflation is way down, right? That's one reason I think that the Fed has pretty much made a power move, dug their feet in the sand, so to speak, right? And refusing to budge even under this political pressure from Trump. See, I think it's a subtle statement to President Donald Trump to refuse to lower rates at this point, right? Now, the Fed wants us to believe that they're always thinking about the long term and the best thing for the American people, right? Versus Trump's short-term push to try to get this thing done right now. But some people are saying, hold up. Federal Reserve, last September and November, you lowered the interest rates when the inflation was higher than it is now. See, when the
Exactly. He lowered the interest rates when the inflation was higher than it currently is. And why did he lower those interest rates? Because Biden was running for president and he was trying to get the interest rates down to help Biden get reelected. And the lower interest rates in turn helped spike the housing market, because people may want to refinance or buy houses at a lower rate, and then banks might loosen up some credit for people with lower interest rates. So he did that to give Biden's economy like a little boost, so Biden could run on those fake economy numbers that he was running on. We found out that even the numbers about the economy being put out by Biden were fraudulent.
Fed lowers the Fed funds rate, that's seen as sort of, in some circles, as an inflationary move because it incentivizes people to go out and spend. And when people go out and spend because money is cheaper to borrow because the Fed funds rate has come down, then what happens is the demand for things go up. And the demand goes up because everybody now has cheaper money to borrow and can go out there and buy stuff, more stuff. And anytime you're dealing with economics, when the demand goes up, typically that means the prices go up. So people see the lowering of the Fed funds rate as sort of inflationary or a means to get everybody out and spend and drive demand up. So if inflation was already high, this is what some people are saying, if inflation was already higher than it is now back in September and November of last year, and we know what happened in September and November of last year, that was election time for a new president, right? So people are saying, wait a minute, if you're not a political entity, Federal Reserve, then why did you lower the rates right around the time of elections? But now, today, the inflation rate is lower than it was back then, and you still refuse to lower the rates, right? So some people look at that and say, hey, what's going on there, Federal Reserve? Why are you late to the party on lowering the rates, right? Some people are saying the Fed is always, this Fed under Jerome Powell has always been sort of late to the party and doing things a little later than they probably should. Now, in terms of Trump wants the rates to come down for a number of reasons. And I think one of the main reasons Trump is trying to push this rate down is because he wants to see, obviously, some political gains from the rates going down and things getting and money getting cheaper to borrow. But also is this, in 2026, we're going to be looking at a turnover, perhaps, in the House and the Senate. See, right now, Republicans have the majority House, majority Senate, and we have a Republican president. So coming up about a year and a half from now, when you have these midterm elections that happen, midterm elections might overturn all that. You might see a Democratic Senate and Democratic House. Who knows, right? And at that point, almost anything Trump is trying to get passed into law today is going to be very, very difficult to pass into law in about a year and a half, because midterm elections are coming. Midterm elections are just those national elections that actually vote in new senators and new House of Representatives. always takes place halfway through a president's 4-year term. And so that's coming up in the end part of 2026. So everything that Trump really wants to happen needs to happen before that time. See, most people still think, oh, well, Trump controls everything, right? Trump controls the Fed. No, Trump doesn't control the Federal Reserve. However, Trump's policies in terms of tariffs has sort of given the Federal Reserve a reason to sort of say out loud why we're pausing in terms of lowering the Fed funds rate. Trump saying, okay, I'm going to install these tariffs on these various countries around the world, sometimes 100, 200% tariffs. What happens is that gives the Fed the reason to say, hold up. We ain't going to touch rates because guess what? We don't know what's going to be the outcome of you installing these tariffs on these countries' goods coming into America. So guess what? Trump, the Fed says, we're going to pause any type of reduction in the rates until we see what happens with the results of these tariffs. And I think that's a message to President Trump. The Fed always comes out and says, hey, we're looking at a data-driven approach, right? We're looking at inflation. We want to get it down to our target 2% for core PCE inflation, which is just inflation minus food and energy. We want to get our core PCE inflation down to 2%. We're also, as a Fed, this is what the Fed is normally saying. We're also looking at steady labor conditions that aren't in flux or aren't, unemployment rates not too high. We're looking at all these different various things to make our decision every time we get together, 8 months every year that we actually have our Federal Open Market Committee meeting, FOMC meeting, and decide what we're going to do on rates. We're looking at all these things. We're not focused on politics. We don't care Democrat, Republic. This is what the Federal Reserve is saying. But I'm saying the Fed is also saying, Donald Trump, you don't control us. We can defy you and operate outside of you because you don't control us. I think that's what the Fed is saying. But let's talk about today's meeting, okay? The chairperson of the New York District of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, he came out and obviously said there are some reasons why we are leaving the Fed funds rate at between 4.25% and 4.5%. And here's some of the reasons. He said basically the economy is solid right now and unemployment is at or near almost record lows. Unemployment has been super duper steady and it's only at 4.2% right now. And he also said that we're almost at near what they call maximum employment, right? And he talked about inflation being down. He gave some inflation numbers. He said the core PCE inflation is down to 2.6% year over year. In other words, the price of goods other than food and energy has gone up 2.6% since this time last year. And so he reported that inflation is down, getting nearer and nearer to their 2% target. And he also said that consumer spending has sort of moderated, but he did point to very clearly elevated uncertainty due to the policies regarding and surrounding tariffs. And he said that pretty much remains a concern of theirs. And he also pointed to the fact that he did mention this. He talked a little bit about this. He said GDP is sort of projected to grow slower than it had been growing and even slower than they had recently predicted back in March of this year, a couple months ago. He said wage growth is also kind of becoming more balanced. And he also came out and said that they projected that the unemployment rate at the end of this year into next year could go up or may go up to 4.5%. So inch up just a little higher than it is right now because of the fact that new jobs weren't being produced as much as they had been, which we know that new non-farm jobs nowadays is lower than it was last year. The average of last year right now, new non-farm jobs are not at the level they were last year. So he did mention that as well. And we talked about that in a previous video I did just about a week ago. And the Fed Chair Jerome Powell also said that long-term inflation projections are actually lower than they had been, and they're closer to the 2% target that they're looking for. So he said, hey, we're keeping the Fed funds rate steady at where it is. We're also rolling assets off our balance sheet. And he spent a fair amount of time in terms of answering questions regarding the potential for tariffs to still cause inflation to go up. Although we haven't seen that at this point. Waiting to learn more and waiting until we see more action or more data-driven information. Look, most people are saying, listen, it's time, Jerome Powell. It's time to go ahead and lower these rates and make borrowing money a little cheaper, easily.
Exactly. It's time to lower the rate to make borrowing money a little cheaper. And you gotta loosen up for the freaking housing market. People can't refinance homes. Nobody wants to sell or buy a home. And new construction is down. Only people building is all the building you seen going up is being done by commercial builders, who can put money into residential projects.
A little pressure off businesses and consumers who want to go buy things and want to go actually borrow some money. A lot of people are saying it. And the Fed is saying, hold up. No, we're defying what you want to do, Donald Trump. We're defying the whole notion that we need to be hasty and cut rates. Now, listen, I want to explain this to you because a lot of people don't talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. When you're listening to the Federal Reserve give speeches or give some type of commentary, you need to understand, guys, that when the Fed speaks, it's propaganda, because the Fed is a propaganda machine. Let me sort of explain what I mean by that, because that may not be a very popular thing to say. But listen, the Fed, they manage the narrative of what they say because they understand fully that what they say has the ability to sway markets. What they say has the ability to tank the market. What they say has the ability to really, really make people worried and concerned and have an effect on how people spend their money. And that moves the economy. So you'll hear the Fed, oftentimes they'll use very optimistic and very vague type of language. When you hear them say things like maximum employment or soft landing, or we're being very data driven and data dependent, right? These are soft words to keep people calm. And just frankly, just flat out, they want to make sure people don't panic, right? So they use these type of soft terms. Look, the term maximum employment, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, he probably said maximum employment about 4 or 5 times a day. Why did he say it 4 or 5 times? Look, the Fed doesn't want everybody working. The Fed does not want to see every single human being in America working. That's not what they want. They want maximum employment. But if you're listening to the word maximum employment, it's making you think, oh, they want everybody to go back to work. It's a good sounding set of words, right? It makes everybody feel good, but that's not what they want. They just use the term maximum employment as sort of a slick code, right? It's the same reason the Federal Reserve is not federal. It's not affiliated necessarily directly with the federal government, but they use the term Federal Reserve. Why do they use that term, Federal Reserve, if they're not a part of the federal government, right? It's sort of that slickery and trickery language that they use to pacify or at least kind of pull the wool over consumers, the American people, in my opinion, right? The Fed uses their messages always to control narratives and control public sentiment. They need to control how we feel about them, and that becomes the primary goal of their communication to us. Sides, right? But here's the kicker. The Fed, the Federal Reserve here in America, it operates independently, which really means this. The Fed is not directly accountable to the people. The Fed is not directly accountable to voters. The Fed can pretty much almost do what it wants to do, but they're going to come out and tell you that we got 2 mandates. We have maximum employment and we got price stability, and we really want. They can come out and give you all this flowery language because they're not tied to you. You didn't vote them in, so that means you can't vote them out, right? They're not accountable to you. They're not accountable to us. So if they're not accountable to us, do you really think they have your best interests at heart? I'm going to let you think about that one. The Fed only exists because we have confidence in the Fed. And the Fed is not going to do anything to mess up that trust and that confidence. I'm just saying. So what should you be doing? I don't want to end any video without telling you what should you be doing as a consumer, as an investor, as a small business owner. First, here's one thing you can do. Boost your savings in your high yield savings accounts. Let me explain. High yield savings accounts for us as investors and regular average people, high yield savings accounts, the return on investment of those, the interest that you receive from having your money in the high yield savings account, it fluctuates. Those are variable rate interests. And so as the Federal Reserve lowers the Fed funds rate, so will the amount of interest that the banks are going to give you in your high yield savings accounts. So now, while the interest rate is still high, it might be an opportunity to move some money into your high yield savings accounts. But when the Fed starts lowering the rates, the Fed funds rate, your interest rate is going to start coming down in your high yield savings accounts, right? Like you can get 4% right now somewhere, 3.5%, 4%. But let the rates go down by 50 basis points or 0.5% or a full percentage point. You won't get 4%. You'll be getting 3%, 2.5%. And then, of course, as always, you always want to pay down your high interest debt. So that means your car loans, put less on your credit cards, your personal loans, all those short-term loans, paying them down right now while interest rates are high is going to help you save some money, right? If you're a small business, maybe you can review your lines of credit.
All right, perfect. I wanted to play that segment for the Fed because I've been hammering down about man, Powell got to lower these the interest rates and whatnot. And it sounds good, but that was like the first dude I ran across that like really explained the whole Fed situation and the interest rates, and like layman's terms and why it was important. And it's pivotal because Trump's been stomping on, especially with the new bill getting Trump's big beautiful bill almost getting passed, and with unemployment down, inflation down, why the interest rate should be lowered. And like I said, that was smart money, bro. As always, I'm putting the links to all of the videos I reviewed for the news desk. They're already in the description box tonight. So you can go directly to the video. We've reviewed one of Smart Money Bros videos before on the news desk. Irvin Reed with the $5 super chat. He said he's right. Control the spend and you control what we spend. Fed equals fixed. Wow, that's a good one. Fixed economic development. Hashtag F all you hoes.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
Yo, this is Trump and Jerome Powell. Trump telling Jerome Powell to lower the interest rates. And Jerome Powell.
So you think you got what it takes?
I'll tell you what I got. Your wife's pussy on my breath.
Nobody's ever talked to me like that before.
That's because everyone's mouth is usually full of your wife's box.
You're hired.
Shit.
So you think...
All right, man, let's load up. Well, we're at the 1 hour, 10 minute mark. Yeah, that's funny, right? Yo, let's load up this last clip, man. We'll get up out here. I actually had a couple more. I got Alligator Alcatraz, Trump peace in the Congo, but we can get to that tomorrow. We'll leave some on the table. Let's do I watch a lot of international news too. We actually haven't done a Sky News segment yet. Oh, good. We get a double. Joy Reid, I don't know if you guys saw her. She made her way back on CNN and flopped out. She was looking like a nutcase on that joint. But this is Joy Reid comparing Alligator Alcatraz that Trump's got popping off to concentration camps. She's just a hack, bro. Her Alligator Alcatraz might need a panel. We could do that. We could talk about that Sunday. So let's do this last segment with Joy Reid. And this is Sky News going and I forget this woman's name, but they do a great job. Lefties losing it, clowning the left, and some of those takes are hilarious. All right, let's go.
Camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up brown people and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. Surprise, surprise, the economy of Florida is going to be severely harmed by rounding up brown people who, by the way, all over this country, Latinos are afraid to go to work. Anybody who is perceived or looks Latino is afraid to go to work. I know people who are not Latino, but they're brown, and so they look Latino to the naked eye, if you don't know any better, who are walking around with their passports, who never leave home without a passport.
All right, actually, I'm gonna run back and read a couple of these. Revelator Spirit of Difference said, he said Joy Reid looks like the Butch, looks like Butch the Natural Reid. That's funny as hell. Theo Wop in the building. He said illegal alien dinner, gator dinner. Oh, here I'm gonna do it reverse for you, Theo. I'm gonna give you the reverse, John. I'm gonna give you Q, then F all, then F all, you hoes.
Riker, my good fortune is your good fortune.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Oh, you're so stolid. You weren't like that before the beard. Very well.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Fuck all you hoes.
All right, but now let me run this back a little bit. I want to read a couple of these. These are her comments all over social media and from the panels before we get to the end of the show. She is and I guess she's trying to audition for a spot at CNN. You know, Abby Phillips has her own show, but the only reason people watch Abby Phillips is to watch Scott Jennings destroy everyone. Let's keep it a buck. All right, so here are some of these. I try to forget him. I should try this one. I try to forget about him, but Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the comfy couch host on a tour of the concentration camp he is building in Florida in order to round up brown people and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. She is a hack. I want to also note, this is what I'm talking about, the hypocrisy to the left and then some of these tether media and politicos. She's from the Congo. All this time she's so enraged with what's going on with these the migrants and everything. Now, mind you, they've been in a brutal genocide side like war in the Congo. She hasn't said anything about that, and that's where her peoples is from. You know what else she hasn't mentioned? That in the last 48 to 72 hours, Trump brokered a peace deal between Congo and Rwanda. You see what I'm saying to you? The same way the Democrats are all worried about these illegals and everything. Nobody's worried about all of what about Tory in jail for something he didn't do? And all of the constituents in their own districts that have issues with the police and what have you. You don't see the Democrats showing for any of that. This party got to go, and all of their pundits and operatives. Surprise, surprise, the economy of Florida is going to be severely harmed by rounding up brown people who, by the way, all over this country, Latinos are afraid to go to work. Once again, they're DL making a argument basically for indentured servitude or i.e. slave labor. Okay, here one. Joy Reid's reckless race baiting is exactly why her ratings tanked and her show got canceled. Americans are sick of the lies, division, and anti-Trump hysteria. Oh, I follow Clown World on Twitter. Joy Reid thinks enforcing immigration law is a hate crime. Facts. Alligator Alcatraz isn't about race. It's about deporting illegals. Florida built it. America needs it. Failed MSNBC host Joy Reid says that Trump has constructed concentration camps in Florida to deport brown people. It's not a concentration camp. It's a staging facilities for those in the process of being deported. No wonder her show got canceled. This is what she said. I know people who are not Latino, but they're brown, so they look Latino to the naked eye. We always be saying about this projection. Yo, this is why we need ADOS and FBAs in these positions in the media and everything, because to really push our interests. All of this by the skin test, all that shit's got to go. Revelator says she may have the look of Butch Reed, but she also has the body of Adrian Adonis. That's funny. Marie says she should apply with Shapiro. I hear they're hiring. She should call up C. Owens. Y'all funny as hell, cuz. Oh, Theo Waffle to file on super chat. He said, "Set Joy Reid to the Gator jail. F all them libs." Hell yeah. She's a hack.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. And fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. And fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. And fuck all you hoes.
All right, bet. Let's jump through this real quick. Bang, here we go. This Trump at bang, here we go. Perfect.
Caroline Levitt.
On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz.
Kosha, what do you make of Alligator Alcatraz? I can't imagine too many Democrats going and protesting on its gates. It sounds pretty ominous.
I think they might think twice before running their pickets for that one. You know, this thing hits every note of what the Trump administration is about.
Okay, Revelator says that argument is old and tired, but the Dems will never learn. Yeah. Truth be told, that's good for us. Because if this is how they continue to run through 2026 to 2028, they won't be back in office for a while. Oh, Inquire Storm in the building with a $5 super chat. He said, he said, I hear alligators like tether meat. Hashtag F all you hoes. And that's actually not false. Alligators do look. Hey, it's a lot of that going on in Africa. I'll just put it that way.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
That's some extra sauce on that one. Oh, Theo Wealth back in the building with an additional one. He said, how about send CNN to the Gators also? Hell yeah, bro. And you were spot on with that CNN equals Iran intel information thing. We covered that the other night. Speaking of which, Theo, that CNN thing, I'll cover that tomorrow on the news desk. So someone has apparently come up with an anonymizer app, software developer, where you can alert people of ICE activity, and CNN was actually promoting it earlier this week. So that's basically them interfering with federal investigations, obstruction of justice, et cetera, et cetera. They might end up with another major lawsuit from the Justice Department with regard to that. And then depending on how that plays out, yeah, I'm trying to tell you, somebody over at CNN going to end up getting their ass arrested.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
Riker, my good fortune is your good fortune.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Oh, you're so stolid. You weren't like that before the beard. Very well.
All right, let's rock. Let's play the tail end of this and wrap it up. We said Theo, check. Okay, bang, bang, bang. You don't need that. Revelator said, you know what? Both those Australian chicks are stretchable, especially the ones to the right. Sorry for the simping. You're funny. Storm said, "Yeah, that Star Trek drop never gets old." That's Saul. Saul sent me the clip. I chopped it up. I found the piece that was extra droppable, but yo, he struck gold with that. Let's play the tail end out of this. Kosha Gata.
About immigration and really mass deportations of illegals is the centerpiece of his policy agenda. As we all know, Florida is one of the best run states in the country and has been very cooperative with the federal government in trying to execute this immigration agenda, unlike other states, sanctuary cities, et cetera, that try to stymie it. Then you've got the optics of Trump himself visiting, Kristi Noem, DeSantis going to be there in the Florida Everglades, where it physically is surrounded by swamps that have lots and lots of alligators and pythons over there, which is sort of this natural moat. And you can just see Trump and his Truth Social and all that is going to make hay from this. Get ready for some interesting and funny tweets out of there. But more importantly, I think it's just the imagery of it really is going to stick in the minds of people about what he's trying to do with getting illegals out in cooperation with states and holding them in detention centers that are not meant to be pleasant.
Spot on. Spot on. And Revelator, you are correct. We've posited this proposition. We're on thin margins now, but depending on how well Trump performs, how well us here at with Blackmail Media do at continuously debasing the mainstream media, pushing our talking points, things with regard to a policy and the agenda that are favorable to the heterosexual, free-thinking black male. The Democrats will continue to lose a tremendous amount of their stronghold. Plus, with this mass deportation of illegal aliens, they're losing a major piece of their manufactured voting base. And I agree with you. You said the way the left are going, they may not see any major office or hold any positions until after we're all dead and gone, if even then. Like I said, I hope so. The midterms are going to be the major test of that, to see if the Republicans can hold on to the House and the Senate, or if they gain seats. That'll be a strong indicator of the waning influence and enthusiasm of the base of the Democratic Party. And I'm of the opinion that, like we say here, it's a war, but to win by attrition. If we could chip away at them a little piece at a time, because I would like to see a MAGA Republican in power in 2028, whether it be I'm for Vance. I think Vance is a killer. So between Vance, Rubio, or DeSantis, I'll take that. Irvin Reed says all news is propaganda, but not all propaganda is news. Whole fact, though. We do it for Quaid. We do it for recall. Open your mind. Oh, look at you. I got that. That reference might have went over some of you guys' heads. Yup. I think they'll gain seats. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Quiet Storm says, if the GOP increase their seats in both, the second half of Trump presidency will be crazy. And that's primarily it. I want us to hold on to our majority in the Senate and the House, just like I said, from a legislative standpoint, so Trump can continue to push this agenda through. Because what we're looking for is institutional change that's hardwired in, to the point where by the time a Democrat actually gets in somewhere, the institutional change, what what Elon did with Doge alone, that during that initial foray, that in and of itself is going to completely. What they did is they cut all the loopholes where the money can be, where all the money was being funneled and everything, and there's still forensics and auditing going on right now that we don't even hear about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now that all the fanfare is gone. And we already see how Keisha's hurting with the cut of the federal jobs and everything. We're looking at we want a complete terraforming of the environment. You know what I'm saying? Because it will favor black men one way or another. Ooh, Theo Waff in the building once again with the two. Yo, so I keep telling you, send me a picture of Chewbacca, man. I'll make a Chewbacca drop for you. He said Chewbacca Vance 2028 hashtag F all you hoes. Yo, Chewbacca Vance would be better than Biden, Kamala Harris.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
Oh yeah. What's Storm say? Revelator says the GOP could hold the office for a generation, whether it's Vance, Rubio, or DeSantis. That's what I'm looking for. So Trump's got this for. If we get Vance back to back for 8, that's 12 years of policy initiatives that, to a large extent, whether directly or indirectly, we are in favor of. That'll be a complete reset to. Because what's going to happen, like hard institutional change is going to be needed to like roll back a lot of this madness, and institutional changes need to be put in place to basically the subsidizing of the Keisha industrial complex has to die. Irvin says I only trust Vance, but that's just me. I agree with you also. Vance is my favorite. Rubio ran before. I like the way Rubio is showing up as Secretary of State. I think he's more Weasley than Vance. I think Vance is like Trump, like what you see is what you get. And like I said, irregardless of what people said, when and we covered that on the Sunday show leading up to the November elections, when Trump picked Vance as his vice president, and it was that first few showings in the media where he went in and he started going at Dana Bash and just started handing these news anchors their heads. If you look back at that campaign, once he picked Vance, you didn't see Trump doing press no more. He's just, that last leg of the election, he just sent Vance out to handle everything, like a good lieutenant, and Vance brought back heads. And I think he did a good job running interference, keeping Trump out of the press, away from foibles and everything, and he allowed Trump to coast to election day without any missteps. In the first administration, Trump was doing everything. He was fighting the press. He had to do everything himself. Once he got Vance on, like Vance got with the program, and he was a good lieutenant, and he got out there. And look, even if you look at the Zelensky fiasco in the Oval Office, it was Vance that went off. You know what I'm saying? It was Vance that caught everything. It was Vance that checked Zelensky. And then Trump jumped in defending Vance. Like, he let them go at it. So every time I see Vance show up, I just like what I see. Waff says, oh, you can trust Chewbacca. Oh, Kwabi Kaiju with another $2 super chat. He says Vance 2028. I have to support my. Oh, there you go. I have to support my. I didn't know you was a Marine, Kwame. I'm my pop's a Marine. My pop's a Marine. Semper Fi. That being said, I grew up very rough. I think Obsidian's got similar father was a Marine stories.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all.
Theo laugh. Come on, dog. Come on now, man. Y'all niggas stupid. Quiet Storm, yo, you were correct. He said Dana Bash, yo, that's facts. Hasn't been the same since that discussion with Vance. Vance handed her head. Um, and actually his two executioners were Vance and Byron Donalds. Vance and Byron Donalds. And now he's got Rubio out there taking heads. Rubio is vicious. And I like Rubio is vicious. Irvin Reed, yeah, Vance knows his role as capo. Exactly. He knows how to play his position. You feel me? And I just like the way he comports himself with Trump. I think they got, and like I said, Rubio, DeSantis is great. I think Vance is the best play because he's at Trump's right-hand side while Trump's out here making these power plays, and it's like almost like an apprenticeship. He's going to watch how he's going to learn on the job how to basically break the rules, get things done, push your own agenda. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I just think like he'll be ready for war. Kwame, yes, sir. A long line of jarheads. Yeah. I said it before. My family's fought in every war in the United States since the Revolutionary War. So I said, no matter my gripes about, what I say about the U.S. and this, that, and the other, I'm in Peru, but make no mistakes, I'm a motherfucking patriot. I'm going to say thank you, gentlemen. Once again, you guys have Quiet Storm to thank for the Machismo TV, MTV News Desk. Make sure I got all the super chats. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. I think this is the third week of us doing the MTV News Desk. I'm getting warmed up. I had to get used to just doing a show by myself. I'm just used to running a panel and facilitating and, making funny quips and everything. But I'm all loosened up. Thank you guys for showing up. If you have ideas for news stories you want me to cover during News Desk, feel free to shoot me an email. Kwame Kaiju already shoots me emails about that. Irvin Reed. Quiet Storm sends me stuff. So if there's something you want me to talk over, and then, like I said, a lot of the material for the MTV News Desk is a lot of stuff that just didn't make the Sunday show because we are always pressed for time. We have a two-hour time block and we have a full panel. So some stuff just doesn't make the cut for the Sunday show. Irvin Reed says, I forgot the general after Powell, but he made a speech to the troops that Vance would have been a part of. The one talking about future warfare and little green men. I don't know. You might have to send me something on that. All right, gentlemen. We at the 1 hour, 40-minute mark. It is 12:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you all tomorrow. Friday is 4th of July. I'm thinking about doing a marathon stream during the day for 4th of July and just ending the stream off with a news desk segment right when the sun goes down. It's my Sabbath on Friday, so I normally can't do anything after the sun goes down. So 4th of July is Friday. I'm contemplating doing a full long marathon stream during the day, so you guys have something to listen to while you're at your cookouts and what have you. Once again, man, we can't do anything on this channel without you guys. We appreciate all your support. Thank you to everyone who supported Sunday stream. It's the biggest stream of contributions we've ever gotten here, and I was truly overwhelmed. Thank you to everyone leaving comments on the long form content. I see you guys. We're trying to get that long form content into the algorithm so we could feed the beast, so we could buy some AI software that I got my eye on so I can make some AI avatars for the channel. We got a bunch of upgrades we're trying to do for season 8. If you know anybody that wants to be a channel member, please become a channel member. And also remember, you can gift Patreon memberships. I'll post those on the community tab. You can gift Patreon memberships to people, and our entire catalog of work is on Patreon. I am constantly Irvin said, grown men cry too. Brotherhood, Machismo, brotherhood. Yeah, man. I had to turn the I had to turn the stream over to Saul for a minute. Choir Storm says, you finally made it over 26,300 subs. Guess these streams are finally poking through the algorithm. Yeah, man. A tremendous amount of our growth are the late night streams and the shorts feed. Yo, Cortez, what up, Playboy? We just wrapping up a news desk tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. It's looking like I'm turning into the old school 11 o'clock news. Remember the news used to come on at 11? It was channel 3, 6, and 10 in Philly. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to find a sweet spot during the week, somewhere between 9 and 11 o'clock. I've been trending toward 11 o'clock. So we'll lock down a steady time for these during the week. We're building the plane while we fly it. I'm gonna turn the channel on after this. What do you got? Okay, all right. Urban Reed, yeah, 3, 5, and 8. Okay. And Storm was what? 2, 5, and 9. Yeah, that was Norman Schwarzkopf. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yo, we tried to take a lot of elements of old school TV and put it into the channel, in case you guys didn't notice. Even the channel coming on at midnight, that's for back in the day when like all the video jukebox used to come on at midnight, or back in the day they actually used to shut down the UHF and VHF channels at midnight, play the Star Spangled Banner, and then it'd be all static. Then at 12:30 on like 1 or 2 of the channels, then all the rock videos and shit used to come on. So that's why we started turning the channel on at midnight first. That was an ode to that. Me and Saul both grew up during that time. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of Easter egg and Machismo TV trivia. Let's see, man. So I will see you guys tomorrow, man. Okay, hold on. Let me say we got to re-review the Generals clip with today's context. All right, yeah. Let me know what clip that is. We'll re-review that stuff. I mean, that's the other thing. The MTV news desk during the week. That's for us to cover anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was Benny Hill time. Exactly. It was, it was Benny Hill time at midnight. Exactly. Oh, that's a reference. You guys have to Google that. Yeah, but then yeah, it's Benny Hill time. So yeah, news stuff that you guys want me to cover during the week, let me know. I think we're doing a good public service here. Having these conversations and making our listening audience, and then the people that you talk to in general, more media savvy. That being the case, it is far more difficult for the wool to be pulled over your eyes and for anybody to fall for the friggin' okie doke. Not on our watch. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, I want to say good night and good luck.
Yo, kids, they need to know I'm here to fuck you. They need to know I'm here to fuck you. Get the fuck on, ain't no shame. I'm here to fuck. 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 Watch this bridge, y'all. I'm here to fuck. Yo, kids, they need to know I'm here to fuck you. I don't wanna know your name, your kids. They need to know I'm here to fuck you. Get the fuck on, ain't no shame. I'm here to fuck. 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 Watch this bridge, y'all. I'm here to fuck.
On Keisha, this connection is like trash. Fuck out my way, bitch! Oops. Keisha, you still there? I deadass think I hit a pothole. Oh my gosh. Well, that was already, like, that dent, though. Oh, my God. Did you not see me coming out of the building? I literally had the right of way. Dead ass. I used to say silly things like, where are all the good men at? Until I started taking accountability. Now I know I'm just an ain't shit ass bitch. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I am the problem.
Tomorrow's weather happened yesterday, so we're experiencing reverse precipitation. Rain will unfall upward into the clouds starting at 3 p.m.
We're getting reports that local resident Mike Johnson has discovered he's been the same NPC for 3 years, repeating identical conversations with neighbors.
As you can see, we have heavy cat precipitation moving through the Midwest. Expect 3 to 4 inches of tabby cats with scattered Persian showers.
We're seeing a high-pressure system of existential dread moving in from the west, with scattered anxiety showers and a 70% chance of emotional breakdown by evening.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Mitchell. Wait, why are there 2 of us? I think we're experiencing a rendering error.
In tonight's game,
panel. This country needs stronger border security. Our border security is the strongest in the world.
What we need is to take care of our children.
I can't get an erection. You think giving them amnesty is fair to the people who are already here? They're contributing to the economy. I've tried all the herbs. Amnesty is never the answer. It's not amnesty. It's recognizing their contributions to our country. They said to meditate, but I keep falling asleep. We need stronger vetting.
And to enforce the laws already on the books.
I'm terrified of being alone with my wife. It's too much pressure. Well, nothing's ever going to change if Congress isn't willing to compromise. Exactly my point.
A wall would solve this.
I wake up with an erection, but never when she's in the bed with me. A wall would solve nothing.
These children have rights.
I spent $3 grand on a sandals vacation thinking that might do it. Know what it was? Me being limp on a lazy river.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you to Peter Griffin.
No, don't send me home to my wife. Democrats.
Sorry.
Hey, where's Stewie?
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it, and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.